This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today we are going to start the first demo class. So first of all, before going to the Azure Data Engineering, as it is purely related to Azure Data Engineering course, okay. So before jumping into the Azure Data Engineering, we need to know the basics of the databases because this is a vast subject. There are a number of cloud technologies are available in the market. So before going to this Azure Data Engineering, we need to know about what is data, okay, what is database, what is the necessity of going for this cloud technology. These are things we need to aware. First of all, anyone having any idea about what is data? What is data?
Data is
Data is a collection of some information, right? So
yeah.
if you can take any organization, either right, whether it is a small organization or it is a big franchisee, anything you can take, they are depending upon the data only, right? Suppose you can take an example of more supermarket. If you went to this more supermarket, after purchasing all the products, yeah, after purchasing all the products, just give me 1 second. Yes, అని మాట్లాడతాను. చూసుకోండి మాట్లాడతాను. So after purchasing all the products in the more supermarket, they'll take some data, right? What is your mobile number, everything, because they want to know who is regularly coming into our okay supermarket and who is purchasing your products. All these things they are having some information, right? So without data,
Yes.
there is no business at all. Even if you want to use your mobile phones also in the WhatsApp, we are having regularly we are using huge amount of data, right? Some files, some images. Okay, we are storing that images. So data, there is no without data there is no business at all, right? That much of importance for the data. So now we are having the data, and now where we can store the data which we can store in a place, that place we are calling it as a database. So first of all, we need to know about the database also. What is meant by database? What is meant by database? And in the engineering, I think in the BSc computers or something, they will teach you this database, right? Database, and someone will call it as a DBMS. What is this database and what is this DBMS? So database is used to, anyone having any idea on this database? What is database?
Store the data.
To store the data. What kind of data it can store? Database is a place, okay? Database is a place, database is a place where we can store the data as well as process the data. Database is a place where we can store the data as well as we can process that whatever data we have stored. So what is meant by DBMS means database management system. Database means to store the data. Management means to process the data. Management system. DBMS nothing but the database management system. So now everyone clear, right? Without having data, there
Yes,
is
yes.
no business at all. Even it is a big company or it is a small franchise, anything, they are purely depend upon their data. Because take an example, I have put some coffee shop recently. Okay, recently means 1 year back I have put some coffee shop. If I want to know whether I'm in the debits or credits, okay, whether it is the successfully the running the business or I'm failing in the business. If I want to know, then what I need to do, I need to take the entire last 1 year information, right? Who is coming into our coffee shop regularly and how much products I'm buying daily and how much I'm selling daily. This all information I need to take. Based on that only I can take some decision like whether I can run this business or I can stop the business. So that is the importance of data. So we are storing the data in the database. So now the one more important thing is, if you want to store the data in the database, in which format we can store? Okay, tabular format. If you want to store the data in the database, the data should be in the tabular format only. What is meant by tabular format? Tabular format means rows and columns. If you are storing the data in the format of rows and columns, that is nothing but the tabular format. So we can store the data in the database only in the tabular format. If you want to store it in any other format, it will not accept. Okay, you can store the data in the tabular format only. Now the another important question coming to picture. So now we are storing the data in the database in the tabular format. Now, how many types of databases are there across the globe? How many types of databases are there across the globe? Okay, there are mainly two types of databases across the globe. One is OLTP, another one is OLAP.
OLAP.
What is meant by OLTP and what is meant by OLAP, we need to understand. See, why I'm explaining all these things means before jumping into the Azure data engineering, okay, you need to know from the scratch. So why we are using this Azure data engineering, first of all, you need to know all these things. And also in the interviewers, they are not only concentrating on Azure data engineering, they will concentrate on these questions also. How many types of databases are there? Okay, everything. Okay, what is database, in which format we can store the database, we need to know each and everything. So mainly there are two types of databases are there. One is OLTP, nothing but online
Trans
transactional
transactional process.
processing system, whereas OLTP means what? OLAP means online
Online analysis.
analytical, okay, analytical
Okay.
processing systems. So now I think you'll get one question. So we are storing the data in the database in the tabular format. So only one database is enough, right? Why we need to have two different types of databases means then you need to understand the differences between this OLTP database and OLAP database. Then only you can identify which data we can store in OLTP and which data we can store in the OLAP. Very, very important interview question. What is the differences between OLTP and OLAP? Okay, so the differences between OLTP and OLAP, there are a number of differences. The first difference is OLTP database is used to store, okay, OLTP database is used to store transactional data. Okay, transactional data. In general time, we are calling it as a current data, or we can call it as a present data. Current data, present data, transactional data, everything it is a same. But whereas in the OLAP is used to store historical data. Okay, is used to store historical data. This is first difference. And the second difference is it is having very less space. Okay, very less space. Whereas OLAP database is having huge amount of space. That is the reason OLTP database is used to store very less amount of data. Okay, that is the reason, because if the size is less, then we can store very less amount of data only, right? Whereas in OLTP, sorry, in OLAP we are storing very huge amount of data. We can store. Understood, right, everyone? The differences between OLTP and OLAP. What are the differences? It is used to store transactional data, nothing but the current or present data. Whereas in OLAP database, it is used to store historical data. Whereas it is storing very less. Whereas these OLTP databases are having very less space and it is having huge space. That is the reason we are storing very less amount of data. Whereas we are storing very huge amount of data. The another important difference is the performance. Okay, performance of OLTP. Performance of OLTP is huge. Okay, whereas performance of OLAP is less. So uh, which one is much faster? Means OLTP database is much data faster. OLAP is less, very less. Performance wise, it is very less. Why? Because see, whenever you are storing very less amount of data, the performance will be very fast. Whenever you are storing very huge amount of data, the performance will be very less. Because if I want to get one record from 1 month, it will take 1 second. Okay, but if I want to get that one record from 12 months, it needs to search each and every month, right? That is the reason the performance of the OLTP is very fast, whereas the performance of the OLTP is little less. The best example for OLTP databases is our ATM machines, right? Because whenever we are withdrawing the money, whenever we are went to any ATM machine, so within fraction of seconds we are getting our money, right? Because it is asking our username like ATM pin card, pin number and all. within fraction of seconds it is giving the money back. That is the reason these are all the ATM machines are built on top of online transaction processing systems only. Okay, and very important last difference is the model. Each and every each and every database backend some model will be available. So for this OLTP the backend model is ER data model, whereas in the OLAP we are having dimensional data model. Very important interview question, and there are a number of questions they might ask in this. What is ER data model? What is ER means? ER means entity relationship. Any question, anyone? Any questions till now?
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah, okay. So what is meant by ER means entity relationship model. What is meant by entity means the another name of table is what? Entity. Entity is nothing but table. Table is nothing but entity. The another name of table is entity. So what is meant by this ER data model means entity relationship means whatever the tables you are storing, whatever the data you are storing in the OLTP database, each and every table having relationship with the other table. Okay, suppose one table you have stored and second table you have stored. First table will be having relationship with the second table, and second table will be having relationship with the third table. There will be a chain. Okay, each and every table having its own relationship with the other table, that is called as a entity relationship model. And whatever the tables we are storing in the OLTP database, we are calling it as a entities. And what is nothing but the what is meant by dimensional data model? Dimensional data model means whatever the tables we are storing in the OLAP, we are calling it as dimensions and facts. Dimension tables and fact tables. But here whatever the data you are storing, that is called as a entities. So what is meant by these dimensions means whatever the data you are storing in the tabular format, the tables here we are calling it as what? Dimensions and fact. So now what is dimension means? Dimension will be storing descriptive information, whereas facts will be storing numerical information. Now I'll tell you one example. I'm having one employee table, okay, and in that employee salary, employee number, okay, employee number and employee salary is there. Employee number is 01, salary is 1000, and employee number is 02, salary is 2000. And I'm having one more table, that is employee details table. Employee details table, and in this I'm having employee name, employee location, okay, employee department is there, and employee name is AAA, employee location is Hyderabad, employee department name is HR, and employee B is triple B, and he is from Bangalore, and he is sales. Now tell me, which is the dimension table and which is the fact table here? Tell me
Employee
what dimension
details.
means. Dimension means what? It is storing descriptive information. Yes, tell me
Employee
what is the
name,
dimension table
employee
and what is fact
location.
table?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Employee name, employee location.
this one is dimension table, employee details,
Dimensions.
and this one
Whatever
employee.
the numbers you have given, those are.
Yes, exactly. So whenever we are storing some kind of a numerical information, that is nothing but a fact table, and whenever we are storing some kind of a descriptive information nothing but the character information. So that is called as a dimension table. So this is nothing but the dimensional data modeling. Once you are storing any tables in the OLAP, the tables we are calling it as a dimensions and facts. That's it. And what about the year data model? Whatever the tables you are storing, that is nothing but the entities. We are calling it as entities. And here the example of this year data model is, take an example, employee number, employee name, and employee salary is there. Employee number is 01, triple A, and salary is 1000. And employee 2 is 02, triple B, and 2000. And take an example of another table, DEPT number, sorry, DEPT table. Example, take this is the employee table, and here we are taking another table, that is nothing but the DEPT table. In the DEPT table, I'm having employee number, department number, and department name. Employee number 01, department number. Department number is, or else you can take this department number. Department name is HR and 02 sales, something like that. Now, whatever the table you are storing in the OLTP, each and every table having relationship with the other table. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. How the relationship established between these two tables means by making use of key column. See, now key column is same as here. So we can join these two tables. And suppose there is another third table is there. In that third table also we are having whatever the column is available, this column is available in the third table. Like that, each and table will be having relationship with the other table. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. Why they are storing the data into different tables? First of all, they can store the data into one table, right? Because why they are splitting the data into different tables, especially in the OLTP database, is to reduce the redundancy. What is meant by redundancy? Redundancy means duplication of data. To reduce the duplication of data, they are storing into different tables, and they are establishing a relationship between each and every table. That is nothing but to reduce the redundancy. They are doing all these things. That is nothing but the OLTP database. Now everyone clear, right? The basic, this
Yes.
is the basic you need to know. So first of all, I'll just come from the first. We have discussed about data. The main thing is data. What is data? Data is a collection of some information,
Collection of some
and
information.
where we can store this data. We are storing this data in
Database
one place, that we
systems.
are calling it as a database. And in which format we can store the data in the database? In the
Tabular
tabular
or
format,
entity.
we can store the data. That is tabular format, nothing but rows and columns. See, these are the columns, these are the rows, like that. Okay. And next one is, if you want to store the data in the database, then which database you can store? There are mainly two databases only across the globe. One is OLTP database, another one is OLAP database. So why we are having, what is the necessity of having two databases means, you need to understand the differences between OLTP and OLAP. So the difference between OLTP and OLAP is, it is used to store current data, whereas OLAP is used to store historical data,
Historical
and it
data.
is having very less space, whereas OLAP is having huge space, and it is having very less amount of data it can store. It can store huge amount of data. That is the reason the performance of the OLTP is very huge, whereas the performance of the OLAP is very less. And also the data model which we are following in the OLTP is year data model,
Yeah.
nothing but each and every table we are having a relationship with the other table. Each and every entity has having relationship with the other entity. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. And here the dimensional data model is
Dimensional.
following, and where the dimensions and the facts will be storing the data. Dimensions we are calling it as a descriptive information we can store, whereas facts we can store as a numerical information. Clear? Any doubts till now?
Yeah. No, no.
No doubts, right? Okay. Any other offline people? Anyone having any doubts? Any doubts offline? Are you understood? Parent and Nagmandi kada. Any doubts? Become doubts on that. So this is the basic you have learned. Now we need to go for the another example of why we are coming into this Azure data engineering. First of all, what are the technologies are available in the market? What is, because some people are telling I'm working on ETL tools, Informatica, I'm working on ODI, I'm working on data stage. Some people will tell I'm working on Oracle database or SQL Server database, and some people tell like I'm working as a reporting developer, Power BI developer or Tableau developer, and someone say I'm working on Azure, and someone will say I'm working on AWS. So there are a number of technologies are available in the market, and what they are doing exactly, what backend is happening, and these many tools
Hmm?
are there. First, you need to understand all these things. Okay, so then only we can able to establish a relation to our Azure data engineering as well. Okay, Suppose take an example. I'll just give you one generalized example here. Suppose I want to some one guy is there and his name is some assume his name is Prasad. Okay, and now he want to apply one loan. Okay, he want to apply one either personal loan or anything. So what is the first criteria? If you want to take any loan, what is the first criteria bank people will do? CIBIL score only, right? See, without wasting time, suppose if I'm applying for any loan, the bank people will see the CIBIL score. If it is more than 700 or something, they will obviously they will try to process your file. If it is below, I think like 400 or 300, at the end, at the starting onwards, they will reject your file without wasting any time. So who will create this kind of reports in the back end and how they will analyze the data? So I'll take this example and I will explain you all the tools available in the software industry. Okay. And outside in the Amirpet archive page, we are seeing a number of boards, right? Different Hadoop, okay, ADLS, sorry, not ADLS, like Informatica, Power BI and all. So everything I'll be completing in one example. Suppose I want to get the CIBIL report of Prasad. Suppose he has applied one loan and I want to get the CIBIL report of whom? Of one guy is there. His name is Prasad. Now, this guy Prasad having account in already he's having, because each and everyone having 2 to 3 accounts right these days. He's having account in SBI, okay, and SBI and HDFC and ICICI Asia. These are the banks. And now you know, right? Whenever take any organization where they'll store the data in one kind of a place that we are calling it as a database. Each and every organization, they are maintaining some databases. Without database, we cannot store the data. Either it is a OLTP database or it is a OLAP database. And one more thing, I just want to let you know, this OLAP databases, we are calling it as another thing, another name also it is there. That is nothing but the DWH. What is meant by DWH? Data
Data
warehouse.
warehouse.
Data warehouse is nothing but what? OLAP only. Okay, there is no different database. OLAP is nothing but the data warehouse. Now, this guy Prasad already is having account in 3 banks. One is SBI, another one is ICICI, and another one is something like Axis Bank or anything. So each and every bank, okay, at the end of the day, they are maintaining the data into one database. Take an example. This is take an example. This is HDFC. This is ICICI. This is Axis Bank. Now each and every bank, they are maintaining their own databases. Assume HDFC Bank is maintaining Oracle database, and ICICI Bank is maintaining SQL Server database, and Axis Bank is maintaining some DB2 database. There are a number of databases are available in the market. So now, if you want to get the CIBIL report of Prasad, first of all, we need to check this information from all the banks, right? Because in the HDFC is having some personal loan, in ICICI is having some car loan, and Axis is having some credit cards. So we need to check all the information, and everything is good. Then and the CIBIL report is more than 700. Then only we can provide the loan for him. So if you want to get this data, so if you want to create this kind of reports, and if you given this project to TCS or something, so what they will do, first they will take the entire information from the banks, whatever the bank they are storing in the databases, they are taking the data, and first they will load this data into one place. So this guy Prasad information is everywhere, it is same. His Aadhaar number is same, his PAN number is same, his initial and name is same, and date of birth is also same, but the transactions are different, right? And also each and every database having its own properties. The Oracle database is storing the data in the date of birth in the format of DD, MM, by format. Okay. Whereas SQL Server is storing the data in the DD, YY format, and DB2 database is storing the data in the YY, DD format. Right? The format might be different, but the data is same. So if you want to do this kind of reportings at the end of the day, We cannot, if the data is in different formats, we cannot able to store the data, then we cannot able to process the data. That is the reason, if any project is coming into TCS or Infosys, what they will do, they will first extract this data. They will extract entire data from all the databases. Okay, what they are doing here, they are extracting the data. They are extracting the data into one layer that we are calling it as a, this layer is what, staging layer. Staging means what? Middle layer. Middle layer is the staging layer. We are extracting the data from different databases, and see here the data is in the different formats. We need to convert this different formats data into single format data. Means different formats we are calling it as a heterogeneous format, and we need to convert this heterogeneous format into homogeneous format, means single format. So finally in this here we are transforming the data into a single format. Finally we came to conclusion that okay, we can store the data in the dd, mm and YY format. This is the final format we agreed. So now what we are doing exactly here, we are transforming the data, means we are changing the data from different formats to the single format. That is comes into picture, transforming. Once the data has been transformed, then finally we'll load the data into the another database. That is nothing but what, OLAP database. This is what, OLAP, and these are which kind of databases? These all are OLTP, and this is also OLTP, and this is also OLTP. These all are transactional database, means day-to-day transactions are storing in this database. And once the data has been extracting and transforming, and finally what we are doing, once the data has been transformed, we are loading into the centralized warehouse, which is nothing but a OLAP, which is nothing but a data warehouse. Once the data is available in the data warehouse, then we are having some kind of a reporting tools are available. By making use of these reporting tools, we are creating this kind of a reports finally. So what is this? These all are the reporting tools. So now you understood, right? So if you want to store the data, there are n number of databases are available across the globe, like Oracle data, SQL Server, DB2, Sybase, Teradata, Postgre. Okay, there are n number of databases. And what exactly we are doing after the database? We are extracting the data, nothing but what? E, and we are transforming the data, nothing but T, and finally we are loading the data, L. ETL process we are doing. That is the tools which are available in the market. Different ETL tools are available in the market are Informatica, ODI, Oracle Data Integrator, Data Stage. There are a number of ETL tools are available. If you want to do this process, either you need to take any ETL tool and you need to process the data. Finally, we are loading the data into a data warehouse, OLAP database. And once the data is available in the data warehouse, then we can do the reporting on top of it. There are a number of reporting tools are available in the market, OBIWE, Tableau, okay, and Tableau and Power BI. Sorry, Power BI, Cognos. There are a number of reporting tools are available in the market, and there are some kind of a ETL tools are available in the market. Is what? Informatica, Data Stage, ODI. ODI is a Oracle Data Integrator, which is a ETL tool of Oracle. Okay, so like that, Data Stage is a ETL tool of IBM. Okay, each and every individuals, they are having their own reporting tools and all. See, to do this kind of a report, this is the process. See, n number of softwares, n number of different technologies we are using to store the data. We are using databases. To extract the data, we are using ETL tools. To load the data, we are using OLAP databases. Finally, to do the reporting, we are doing reporting, develop the reporting tools we are using. So the disadvantages here is, so if I want to complete this project to get the civil report of Prasad, first of all, I need to get the developers who all are familiar with the Oracle database, who all are familiar with the SQL Server, and who all are familiar with the DB2 database. And I need to get the developers, and I need to take, suppose if I'm running office, and I need to take the interviews. Okay, I need to conduct the interviews, and I need to select the persons who all are familiar with these technologies. And again, I need ETL also, right? So I'll conduct the interviews for Informatica data stage. Suppose if I'm using Informatica in my project, so I need to conduct the interviews for Informatica and I need to get the best people. And again, if I want to do the reporting in my project, I'm doing the reporting on top of Tableau. Then I need to get the developers who are familiar with the Tableau technology. And also, we need to install all these servers in our machine. We need to install these reporting tools. We need to install these ETL tools also. There is a cost oriented and n number of people are involving. This is the process still we are following till the cloud came into picture. Recently, the cloud came into picture. What is the difference between this one previously? Okay, whatever our previous relatives are there, right? They are working from past 2000 onwards and all. They are following the same process. Now the cloud came into picture. I'll tell the same example, whatever the project we have done. I'll do the same project in the cloud. Okay, see the difference you will understand. So what is our requirement? I want to get the civil report of Prasad, right? Civil report of Prasad. If I want to get, so where the data is available in different databases, right? HDFC, Oracle, and this one. And they are maintaining, Oracle is maintaining HDFC, ICICI maintaining something like SQL Server, and Access is maintaining DB2 database. So here, what exactly we are doing? Here we are having one storage accounts will be there to store the data inside the cloud. We are having some kind of a storage accounts. We are having one storage accounts, and here, so first we are extracting the data inside the cloud. We are extracting the data into our inside the cloud. See, this is available inside the cloud, one kind of a place that we are storing into our storage accounts. Once the data is available inside the storage accounts, then what we need to do, we need to extract this data into this one, and we need to transform the data, and finally we need to load the data into the centralized warehouse. So here, what is the ETL tool? We need to use ETL tool, right, to extract, transform, and loading. What is the ETL tool to do the process means in the Azure Data Engineering? The ETL tools which we are using is ADF, Azure Data Factory, and ADP, Azure Database. So once the data has been transformed, we need to finally load this data into the centralized warehouse, and we don't need to require any other tools. Our Azure is having our own OLAP database also. That is nothing but Azure Synapse. And once the data is available in the synapse, then finally we need to do the reporting, right? And reporting also no need to go anywhere, because our Microsoft is having their own reporting tool also, that is nothing but the Power BI, and we can get this kind of reports. See here, am I using any third party tools? No, right? Here I'm using n number of third
No.
party tools, right? But here, I'm not using any third-party tool. Everything is a Azure services only. Azure storage accounts, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse Data Warehouse. Microsoft product, that is nothing but a Power BI. I'm not going to anywhere, and I'm not installing any services also. See here, I need to install this Oracle database, SQL Server database, DB2 database. And if I'm using Informatica, I need to install Informatica database. If I'm using Tableau, I need to install Tableau database. But here I'm not installing anything. Just I'm utilizing the services which are available inside the cloud. And also I'm not using any third party tools. All the services which are using related to Azure only. This is nothing but Azure cloud. Okay? And this is nothing but what? On premises. On premises means in your local laptop you need to install and you need to work. But here it is in the Azure cloud. So now, what is the difference between this on-premises and Azure? Sorry, not in the Azure. What is the difference between on-premises and cloud? The main difference is, I'll tell you. Suppose you have some 5 GB of personal pictures are there, okay? And if you want to store that 5 GB of personal pictures, your childhood pictures and all. So what you will do generally, we'll store in one laptop, right? In the C drive or D drive, we'll create one folder and we'll store our personal pictures. So after some time, and you have saved that 5 GB of pictures in the Google Drive also. Okay. Later sometime your laptop got crashed and you went to repair shop and they told that motherboard has been crashed. We cannot get the data back. So there is a chance of data loss, right? But whereas if you store the data in the Google Drive, there is no chance of data loss, right? Even if you are syncing with the other
Yes.
phone, if you lost your phone, if you are syncing, all the data will be coming into that, even with the contact numbers also will be loading into your new phone. That is the advantages of cloud. There is no need to do anything, just all the services they are providing that you can able to utilize it. Okay, so now you need to understand the differences between on-premises and cloud. I hope everyone understood this example, right? So you can only
Yes,
able
yes,
to
yes.
distinguish what is the differences between this on-premises and what is the differences between this cloud. That is the reason most of the persons they are using utilizing the cloud only these days. And also on-premises means it is utilizing your computer resources. Suppose if your computer is work, if your laptop configuration is 2 GB RAM, 2 GB means very slow, right? So it will be very slow. But whereas in the cloud they are maintaining high-end clusters, high-end RAMs, like 16 GB, 64 GB RAM they are maintaining. So obviously if you are using 64 GB RAM means the process will be very fast, right, compared to 2 GB RAM. So that is the reason in the cloud, you no need to bother about any infrastructure. Everything will be taken care by cloud only. Any doubts till now?
No, no, no.
No, no, not yet.
Sorry? Sorry, can you come again?
Nothing, nothing.
Okay, clear, right, everyone? Okay, good. And offline, any doubts? So can I ask some questions?
Yeah, sure.
How many types of databases are there? Two types. What are the database
Yeah,
names?
OLTP,
OLTP and
OLAP.
OLTP. What is the difference between OLTP and OLAP?
OLTP is a transactional process system, whereas OLAP is a analytical process system.
Okay,
Like it is a current data, it is a historical data.
okay,
We can store the less data in the transactional data, whereas we can store huge data in the OLAP. So the performance of OLTP will be less, whereas the data is sorry, the performance is very fast. In OLAP, the performance is very slow, and it is a year type of module, whereas it is a dimensional type, like the dimensions and facts, dimensions and facts.
yes, exactly. Okay, any offline you want to try? Differences between OLTP and OLAP? What is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? Okay, okay. Historical data will be storing by the OLAP. Okay, you need to study. Okay, please remember all these points. These all are very very important. And also, I just want to, I have completed the differences, and also I have just given the example of software life cycle, right? Software course life cycle, I can say. Courses life cycle. So that is the reason some people are who all are familiar with the who all are learning outside Informatica. They can work only here. Okay, their expertise in here only. Who all are working on databases, DBAs, okay, database administrators, their expertise is here. And who all are familiar, who all are working on reporting tools, they are learning Tableau and Power BI, their expertise is here. But if you see clearly, one Azure data engineer is capable of handling entire thing from year to year. That is the reason the demand for Azure data engineering is huge. So what exactly we are doing? We are talking about the data here, where the data is available, how to get the data inside the cloud, how to store the data inside the cloud, how to process the data inside the cloud, how to load the data inside the cloud. These all are nothing but we are talking about entirely data, nothing but Azure data engineer. Clear? So now in the Azure Data Engineer, there are mainly two types of responsibilities. I can say in the Azure, there are mainly two types of responsibilities. One is Azure Data Engineer responsibility. Another one is Azure DevOps Engineer responsibility. Okay, something we'll call it as I'm working as a DevOps engineer, right? So what is the difference between data engineer and DevOps engineer? So mainly these two roles only will be there. Data engineer or DevOps engineer. Data engineer means you need to learn about ADF and ADB, how to process the data, how to store the data, how to load the data into the synapse. Whereas DevOps engineer means he will create the infrastructure for you, how to create these storage accounts, how to create this ADF and ADB, okay, how to provide the access, how to restrict the access. These all things will be taken care by DevOps engineer. That is the reason I'm calling it as Azure Data Engineer is kind of a developer role, okay, whereas Azure Data Engineer is kind of a admin role. Now we got a clear picture, right? What you are trying to learn. Here in these classes, we are teaching Azure Data Engineering, but especially in my classes with the Azure Data Engineering concepts, I'll be teaching Azure DevOps Engineering concepts also, which are very, very important to you. Okay, because in my current project, whatever the working company, I'm dealing mainly 80% of the Azure Data Engineering tasks, and sometimes they ask you to work on little DevOps engineering concepts also, like deployments and all. So you need to thoroughly understand about DevOps engineering also. That is the reason in my class I'll be teaching these two, but 80% of the content will be covered on Azure Data Engineer, and just 20% of the content will be covered on Azure DevOps Engineer. That is the reason you can work in any kind of a work environment. So now
Uh,
the another important
and
thing which I, yes,
yeah, I have a doubt. Yeah. So what about the Azure Cloud Architect? Wow,
see
I mean,
Azure
how it
Cloud
is different
Architect. Yes,
from
I'll tell
these
you
two?
that. Yeah, that is the next point. So now we are talking about the cloud technologies, right? So we are hearing a lot of times this names cloud technologies. What are the cloud technologies available, and who all are providing the cloud services? Okay, who all are providing SIM services, SIM card services? Who all are providing? Who all are the vendors for
Microsoft.
SIMs? I'm asking about the SIM card. In the mobile phone, you will use SIM card,
Oh,
right?
Idea, Airtel, Vodafone.
Yeah, Idea, Airtel, Geo. These all are the vendors who all are providing SIM services, and who all are providing OTT platform services.
Amazon, Netflix,
Amazon Prime, Netflix, okay, these all
Hotstar.
are the Hotstar. These all are the cloud vendors. Sorry, these are the vendors who are providing OTT services. Like that, who all are the vendors providing cloud services? Nothing but we are calling it as a cloud vendors. Who all are the cloud vendors means there are a number of cloud vendors are there, but most popular vendors are three. That is Azure
AWS,
and
GCP.
Amazon, not GCP, Google. Okay, not talking about the product. I'm talking about the vendor. Azure is providing the cloud services with the name of, sorry, Microsoft, not Azure. I'm providing the Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Microsoft is providing the cloud services with the name of Azure, and
Azure,
Amazon is providing with the cloud service with the name of AWS, Amazon Web
AWS.
Services, and Google is providing the cloud services with the name of GCP, cloud providers, Google cloud providers. These all are the vendors, and these all are their products. Clear? Now here you are learning one of the tool that is provided by the Microsoft, which is nothing but Microsoft Azure. Clear? And you are trying to learn, yeah, and you are trying to become a data engineer. Okay, and I can say around 70% of the jobs are data engineer, 30% of the jobs are DevOps engineer. And one more thing, someone is asking cloud architect. Then what is meant by cloud architect means if you want to become a cloud architect, okay, if you want to become a cloud architect, then you need to have very good idea and understanding on these three technologies. Then you become a cloud architect. Okay, you need to have, see, if you learn any one cloud service, and you can easily learn the other cloud services, because here in the Azure we are storing the data where in the storage accounts, but here in the in the AWS we are storing the data in the S3 buckets. The terminology will be different, but the process which they are doing in the backend is same. Clear? Yeah, while giving the interview, they might ask you some questions on DevOps also. That's the reason I'm teaching DevOps. What are the important interview questions? What suppose if you are working as Azure Data Engineer, sometimes you need to deploy the code by making use of DevOps engineer roles. That is also you need to learn. Definitely they'll ask you. See, not only they will ask you in the interviews, Not only they'll ask you related to Azure Data Engineering, they will ask you entire things. What is OLTP? What is OLTP? What is dimensional data modeling? What is year data modeling? That is the reason I'm starting from the scratch. Okay. With this, we cannot skip anything. Any question you can able to answer in the interviews. Maximum? Maximum questions. 80% of the questions will be on data engineering only, but some 20% of the questions definitely they'll ask in all the concepts like what is SSIS, what is Hadoop. Those questions also they might ask. I'll teach you entire things. Out of the box concepts also I'll teach you in our class, okay? But most of the questions will be coming on these two, ADF and ADP. Okay? We'll talk about this later. If I explain you this, you'll get confused. Okay? We'll go step by step. Nikhila, Karuna, and Rishi are online. You have any doubts? And offline, you guys have any doubts? Just let me know. I'll try to answer your question.
Yeah, no, sir.
No, no, right? What about
No,
Rishi?
no, no. Yeah, no, no, no. Actually, I missed the starting 10 minutes, so I will see the recording again.
Yeah,
Because in the
definitely.
starting,
After this class, I'll send the recording to our WhatsApp group. And Rishi, can you just provide me your number, please, in the chat?
yeah, I am there
Yeah.
actually in that group itself. Okay, I'll
You are
provide
there in
you
the
an
group?
email. Yeah, I'm there in the group.
Okay. So, what is your
Actually,
full
my
name?
hello.
Sorry, can you just ping hi in the group?
Yeah, I will. I will.
Yeah. So this class duration will be. I just give you one last thing. This class duration will be 50 days. Okay. We'll be covering entire all the concepts in the Azure stack. Most of the things I'll be completing, and whenever you will go for the interview, you can able to answer any question. Okay, that is I can guarantee. 50 days of course duration will be there, and each and every day we are having only 1 hour class. And sometimes I'll be taking classes on Saturday, and sometimes I will not take. Okay, most I'll try to complete these 50 days, and with these concepts and all, I'll complete these real-time projects also. Real-time projects also I'll give you. Regarding streaming data and regarding entire project flow. Introduction papers I will only prepare, okay, and their assessments will be there, mock interviews will be there. I'll conduct each and everything. Okay, after completion of 50 days, easily you can put 7 to 8 years of experience on your resume and you can go for the interview. Okay, that is for sure. But if you practice properly, okay, you need to whatever the class I'm suggesting one thing, whatever the class you have completed today, okay, in the classroom you need to complete that in our regular practice. Okay, and try to write the notes, and what are the notes, what are the diagrams I'm providing, I'll send this in the WhatsApp group as well. Clear, right, everyone? So if you don't have any questions, then we can close this call and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, 10 to 11. Tomorrow also we have a class. Just write it in tomorrow's class as well. Yeah, tomorrow also we have a class. I think he's on call. Any questions? I can take it up. Otherwise, we can leave this call.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rishi. Bye. ఆ గ్రూప్ ఉందా ఉంది. మిమ్మల్ని యాడ్ చేశాను కదా చేశానండి చూడండి సిద్ధార్థ కదా మీ పేరు యాడ్ చేశాను లేదా So that's it, guys. Tomorrow we have a class same time 10 to 11. Okay, please try to attend tomorrow's demo as well. I'll share all the information, everything in the WhatsApp group. Okay, this class links, everything I'll share. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, 10 to 11. Thanks for joining. You can leave the call.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.